What's up guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new captions and transcription feature in Premiere Pro Beta 15.0. A lot of people have had major complaints about the current way captions are built in Premiere. Well, in this beta, captions have been significantly improved, and I think it's going to be a huge game changer for anyone who does captions. Now, before we dive in, I just want to make sure that everyone knows this is still currently in beta. So there are still some quirks or features being added, so just know that when this officially launches, things may be a little different than they are now. I'm anticipating that these features get released with Premiere Pro 2021 sometime in the spring. First of all, we have to talk about the transcription feature because this is absolutely huge. A lot of people use services like rev.com to create transcriptions for them, but now Premiere has this built in, and so far it is looking really promising. So once you have your video on the timeline, you can come up to Window, Text, and this is the new Captions panel. To the left, you'll see Transcript, and once you click on it, you can click Transcript, and you'll get this pop-up which asks you to analyze your dialogue. You can analyze based on different video tracks, in and out points, or if you mark your audio as dialogue with the Essential Audio panel, you can also have it analyzed for only audio you've marked as dialogue. So if you only wanted to analyze specific sections of your video, you have various options for that. For now, I'm just going to have it analyze my whole timeline. It's also quite fast to analyze. I've tested various lengths and they were all faster than real time. A 4.5-minute video took about 2.5 minutes, and a 30-minute video took about 18 to 20 minutes. So the speed of analyzing is already looking pretty great. Once it is finished analyzing, you can see your whole transcription on the left. There's a lot of super cool things you can do from here. First of all, if you click on a word, it will highlight that word and immediately take you to where it is on the timeline. So if you knew there was a section of the video you wanted to skip to, you could search in the bar for the word you are looking for and then skip directly to that part of the video, which is pretty amazing. Now, currently in the beta, there's a few things that need reworking in this panel. If you click a word once, it will highlight it blue and skip to that part on the timeline. But if you wanted to edit the text, you can double click on the text box and now you can change for any errors that you see. The problem is when you double click, it highlights all of the text instead of the word you double clicked on, which means you have to find the word you are looking to change again, which is pretty annoying. But this is the type of stuff that I anticipate them fixing before it actually launches officially. Also, you'll notice that to the left of the transcription that it says speaker 1. If you have multiple speakers, the transcription is generally smart enough to recognize the different speakers and label them accordingly. You can also click on the 3 dots, edit speakers, and then you can add speakers as well as change it to an actual name if you want to properly label your speakers in the video. Before we have it generate these captions, you'll also notice that there are orange underlines throughout some of the text. This is Premiere saying that it isn't 100% sure if it got this word correct in the transcription. So this can be an easy way to go through and potentially check for errors. If you see an orange line, you know that it may be a word that needs some attention. But so far, in my experience, the transcriptions make very few errors. There have been a couple times where I said a word that was a little bit confusing or didn't enunciate properly, and it had a hard time guessing what I was trying to say, but for the most part, there have been very few errors that I've needed to correct. Once you are ready to generate your captions, you can click the Create Captions button and you'll get a list with a few options. The one most of you are probably looking to use is Subtitle, which will burn your captions into the physical video. CEA 608 and 708 are for closed captioning, which will allow you to turn on or off the captions for the video depending on what media player you are using. CEA 608 is for analog TV and probably isn't applicable to most of you. 708 is for digital television though, which is what most of you will be using. Next, you have some options related to Australia, but I don't know the background of those, so I won't be covering these in this video. Next, there is the style option. If you have a master text style created or imported into your project, a list of your master styles will be here in case you had a specific master style that you frequently use for captions. If you don't have any created, this list will be empty. Finally, we will tell it to create from sequence transcript, which just generates a captions track from the transcript we just made. Depending on the length of your video, this should be just about instant. The only time this wasn't instant is when I had it analyze and transcribe a 30-minute video, and in that case, it took about 30 seconds to put the captions on the timeline. Once it is generated, you'll notice you have a new video track called Subtitle. This is a new video track that Premiere will use to hold your captions. It functions very similarly to a regular video track where you can enable it by clicking on C1, hiding it with the eyeball icon, locking the track, and so on. To the left, now we are on the Captions panel, which will show you the timestamps of where everything is said. This panel is really cool though. One neat feature is as you play your video, it shows you in blue text what is being spoken at that moment. Similar to the transcript panel, you can click a text block and it will take you right to that section of the video as well. You guys will probably notice that my captions are in a weird section of the screen, but we'll get to that in just a minute. One thing I have noticed and I'm hoping will be a feature when it releases is right now the transcript places all the text on one line, and it's often inconsistent about how many words or characters are in each text block. This is because Adobe Sensei, which is the AI that does the analyzing, is trying to match the actual speaker's pace, which may not always be visually how we want our captions to look. So later, I'm hoping that you can specify that you want things on multiple lines and how many words you prefer for each line. As of right now, I find that I have to go back and merge some of the captions because one line is 7 words and another is only 3, which just looks odd to the viewer. But again, this may all be fixed by the official release. One thing I think a lot of people are going to love is that captions now function very similarly to text layers. All the regular tools that you would use on text layers can be used here. If timing was off on a caption, you can use the rolling edit tool to slide captions around. You can also place cuts, delete, and ripple delete as you would with normal layers. I think this will be much faster than how you used to have to edit captions. For stylizing your text, you can now use the Essential Graphics panel. If you click a caption and have the Essential Graphics panel on screen, it will take focus and now you can change the font, sizing, color, position, what zone it is in, stroke, background, and so on. Earlier, I mentioned how my text was in a weird position of the screen. This is just another bug that isn't placing the captions in the correct spot upon generating. But in the future, the way you will move your captions is by using the zones button. You can click a square and this will move your caption to that segment of the screen. So if I click the bottom left, my captions move there. If I click the top right, they will move up to the top right. If I want to move all my captions, I can highlight all of the captions on the timeline, and now I'm going to click the bottom, and this will move everything to the bottom center of the screen. So repositioning captions is very easy. Now real quick, I'm just going to change my font to Arial, add a black background, and then change my text color to yellow. This has now changed all of my captions, and as you can see, it is super easy to change the styling of your text with something that you're all very used to by this point. If you want to edit your text, there are a few ways you can do it. You can double click in the Captions panel to edit text from here, or you can go into the Keyboard Shortcuts panel and search for Edit Selected Caption Text. Now, anytime you highlight a caption and hit this key, you can immediately start typing without having to double click inside the panel, which to me was very annoying when adjusting captions repeatedly. If you set up this keyboard shortcut, you should be able to edit all of your captions without ever needing the mouse and just being able to keep your hands on the keyboard. Now, remember earlier how I mentioned the transcripts generated some captions blocks with a lot of words and then others with very few? Well, if that happens to you, you can use the merge segments command to merge multiple blocks together. For example, this block has too few words and could probably be merged with the one next to it. Right now, this feature works a bit bizarre, but if I select this caption and highlight it, once I click merge, it will merge it with the one that is immediately to the left. Now you can see they are merged. From here, I can edit the text to put it on more than one line. So merging caption blocks can be a great way to fix some formatting errors from the automatic transcription feature. If at any point you want to hide the captions track, you can click this CC button and then you will have the option to hide the tracks if you don't want to see them. All right, hey, this is Editor Chris here. As I was going through the video, I realized I forgot to demo a feature, and that is the replace function, and this is seriously amazing and will be a huge time saver for people. So the transcription feature so far has been highly accurate. It's honestly not that often that it messes up for the videos that I've given it, but I did notice that in this tutorial, I was saying the word auto hot key, and for whatever reason, the transcript sometimes thought I was saying auto hockey, and I was definitely not saying auto hockey. So what you can do is come up to this search feature and search the error text. So I'm gonna search auto hockey, and this will highlight all of the ones that it finds that were auto hockey. So I can go down the list and it will show me every one that it has for this. Now, instead of going one by one and replacing these, what I can do is click the replace button and then type what I want to replace it with. So I want it to be auto hotkey, and then I can say replace all, and now every instance of auto hockey is now gone. And if I go back here and just search auto hotkey, now you can see all of these are changed to auto hotkey instead of auto hockey. So this is going to be a huge time saver for a lot of people, and I think this is a very awesome feature. If you already have a pre-generated .srt file that you would like to import into Premiere, you can bring it in as a regular file and then drag it to your timeline. Once you do this, a box will come up asking what format you want. I will choose subtitle again, and now I have options for my starting point: timeline start, playhead position, and source timecode. You don't want timeline start because if you don't start speaking immediately, this won't line up. Same story with playhead position. I will choose source timecode because the timecode of my video is the same as my captions. This will immediately generate captions that you can now start editing like I demonstrated before. Finally, if you're happy with your captions, you can export your video. Once the export window is open, you can come up to the Captions tab to have a look at a few settings. First, you can choose to burn the captions into the video or have it export a sidecar file. If you export a sidecar file, you need to choose what format it is in. Your options are between .srt and .stl. Most people use .srt from what I can tell, but you have both options for whichever you may need. If you choose to export a sidecar file, you will now have a .srt file of those captions that you can upload to other platforms such as YouTube and Facebook. So there you guys go. That's a look into the all new captions feature in Premiere Pro 15.0 beta. I seriously believe this is going to be an unbelievable time saver for those of you who have to create captions on a regular basis. The old captions feature was getting ridiculously dated, and now Adobe has made it much more modern and made things significantly easier with the transcription feature. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and click subscribe if you liked the content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.